For years, he learned names, laughed at jokes he did not find funny, and bent himself into shapes to be liked, and still the right people never came. So today, I want to tell you why the right people appear when you change from within. If these words reach you, take a moment and subscribe. I ask for nothing more. So picture this man. Every morning he goes out and knocks on another door. He remembers birthdays. He agrees when he would rather disagree. At the crowded table, he laughs a beat too loud, a beat too late, and no one notices he is the only one still trying. Perhaps you know this feeling. The tired ache of counting who called and who did not. You go back over the messages you sent that were never answered. You wonder what you did wrong or what you might have said better. And here is the strange thing. The harder he chases, the faster they slip away. Why is that? Why do the people we run toward so often turn and drift the more we reach for them? Look closely at the chasing itself. He is bending, twisting himself into whatever shape the room seems to want. At one table, he is loud, at another quiet. He shrinks his own opinions to fit the mood. And when the evening ends and everyone leaves warm and easy with each other, he walks home down an emptying street, more alone than before he came. He was met, yes, but something in him was never met at all. There is an old image I would like to give you. You cannot fill a cup by chasing the rain through the fields. Run as you might, arms up, mouth open, sprinting after every dark cloud. You come home soaked and the cup is still empty. Sit with this a moment before we go on. Have you been chasing the rain? Now set the cup down, just rest it on the stone, open to the sky, and let it stand. You do nothing, and the rain finds it on its own. You cannot fill a cup by chasing the rain. You set it down open and the rain finds it. Before we get to how you actually let go of the wrong people, let me pause for just a breath. If these words are settling into you the way still water settles. If you want more quiet teachings like this one, take a moment and subscribe. That's all I ask. It costs you nothing and it lets a little more peace find the people who need it. Like the lamp lit at dusk, you help the right ones walk toward the light. Now, back to the letting go, and why it isn't slamming any doors. Do you see what this means for the man at the doors? As long as he performs, the people who gather around him meet the performance, not him. They laugh with the man who laughs on cue. They enjoy the shape he bends into, but the shape is not the man. So even the ones who stay never truly knew the one behind it. And that is why their staying never warmed him. This is the quiet turn, and I want you to feel it. The change he has been waiting for is not out there. It is not one more door, one more clever word, one more evening spent trying harder. All those years of effort were the very thing keeping the cup empty. The answer is not more reaching, it is a setting down. Something small and still, here, within. But setting the cup down asks a harder question than knocking ever did. If the change is not out there in the effort, but here, inside you, then how do you actually stop searching? How do you set the cup down and not simply find yourself alone on that emptying street with no one coming at all? The answer begins with a man who made lanterns, and the evening he finally stopped shouting. For years, the lantern maker's voice was the loudest in that market, and still no one turned. He shouted over the fishmongers, over the cartwheels, over the man selling rice 2 stalls down, and nothing. Then, one evening, he simply stopped. He set his hands quiet, and as the daylight thinned, the lantern maker lit his lamp at dusk, and those who needed light walked toward it on their own. No shout had ever reached them, but the small warm glow did. Think about who came, not the whole market, only the ones already walking home in the dark, already needing exactly what he had. They did not come because he convinced them. They came because he was at last easy to find. That is the whole teaching, and it is smaller than you expect. Letting go of the wrong people is not anger. It is not a slammed door or a cold word or a list of who wronged you. It is quieter than that. It is simply setting down the search. You stop knocking. You stop keeping count of who called and who did not. And here is what changes inside you when you do. Something you can feel before anyone else notices it. When you make peace with yourself, you stop needing the room to approve of you. The hunger goes out of your voice. You no longer lean forward when you speak, hoping the other person will nod. You say your piece and you let it rest. The way you set an open cup down for the rain and simply trust that it will fill. People feel that steadiness. They cannot name it, but they feel it. A calm has come into the way you carry yourself, and calm does not have to chase anything. But I know the fear underneath this. I have seen it in good, tired people all my life. You hear stop searching, and something in your chest tightens, and it asks the honest question. If I stop searching, if I light one small lamp and simply wait, won't I just be left alone? Won't the room empty out and leave me sitting there in the quiet with no one? Sit with that fear for a moment. It deserves an honest answer, not a pretty one. But first, let me ask you something. Which of these thoughts touches you most today? Leave a single word for it in the comments. I read them. And if this quiet does you good, subscribe so more people find a little peace. Now, the honest answer. No, you are not left alone. You are left uncrowded. There is a difference, and it is everything. When you stop shouting into the market, yes, the market gets quieter around you. The people who only came for the noise drift off. The ones who fed on your searching, who liked you best when you were reaching for them, they thin out. And for a little while, that silence can ache. I will not pretend it doesn't. But look at what the silence is actually doing. It is making room. Where there was only searching, only counting, only the tired work of being liked, now there is space, open, unhurried space, the kind a tea table has when one cup sits waiting, unbothered for whoever is meant to fill it. And into that uncrowded space, slowly, the true ones begin to arrive. Not in a crowd, one at a time, quietly, the way that shadowed figure walked toward the one warm glow. But here is the thing that turns everything, and it is not what you would guess. These people who arrive, they are not a reward you earned for good behavior. You did not finally become likable enough. That is not it at all. They are a reflection, and once you see what they are reflecting, you understand the plain, unmagical mechanism behind this whole teaching. A reflection, that is all the arriving people are. Not a reward handed down for finally being good enough, but a mirror held up to who you have quietly become. And once you see that, the whole thing stops being mysterious. Here is the plain mechanism, and there is no magic in it at all. You change the way you carry yourself. You grow calmer, less hungry for the room to like you, a little more whole than you were. Nothing dramatic happens on the outside, but your voice slows. Your hands stop reaching. You stop leaning toward every door, waiting for it to open. And carried that way, something simple follows. You become visible to a different kind of person. The ones who are drawn to quiet find you, because now there is quiet in you to find. And the others, the ones who once fed on your searching, who liked you best when you were bending yourself into shapes, you stop noticing them. They do not vanish, you simply stop reaching for them. They were never really looking at you anyway. They were looking at the performance. This is not luck or magic. It is something older and plainer than that. Think of a stone basin, filling slowly from a spring. The water does not decide where to go, it does not push, it does not chase. It settles gently until it lies level and still. And like water finding its own level, the right people settle beside the version of you that is at rest. Nothing forced, nothing chased. They come to the calm the way water comes to its own level, because that is simply where they belong. So go back to the man we began with, the one who knocked on every door, who learned names he did not care about and laughed at jokes that were not funny, and counted at night who had called and who had not. He sits now by a still lake, morning light on the water. His hands are quiet in his lap. He is not knocking on anything. He is not waiting for anyone. He simply sits and lets the morning be the morning. Picture him for a moment, no longer knocking. Do you feel how quiet that is? And then, without a plan, without a message sent, a friend comes walking up the path, sits down beside him on the bench, says nothing much. The two of them watch the water together, a cup of tea going cold between them. That is all, that is the whole of it. Belonging that arrived only once he stopped chasing it. He set the cup down open, you might say, and the rain found it at last. Now, I want to be honest with you, because you deserve honesty and not a pretty picture. If the loneliness you carry is heavy, if the quiet in your house has become an ache, this is not a teaching that asks you to wait alone until strangers appear. It is not that. Reach toward the people already near you, the old friend you have not called, the neighbor who nods to you each morning. And if the weight is truly heavy, let someone real help you carry it. There is no dignity lost in that. There is dignity in it. Resting in yourself does not mean closing the door on the world, it means you no longer knock on it in fear. So here is the last thing I would leave with you as the light comes up over the water. Become at peace with yourself first. Not perfectly, not all at once, just a little more at rest than you were yesterday, and connection becomes the natural echo of that peace. Not something you win, but something that finds you, the way the friend found the man by the lake. This is an old teaching, not a law. Take what serves you and leave the rest.